shine them bright. Gonna have a grand new show tonight, with glitz and glam on the marquee, perhaps a Tony nominee. Stars beam brightly, see them glow, sell out nightly, SRO. It's time to applaud the Broadway Beat. Stars beam brightly, see them glow, in the footlights of a show. Life is sweet on the world's most famous street.
Tickets, please.
Take a seat
Cue the band.
and have your feet to the rhythm of the Broadway Beat. The Broadway Beat. Broadway Beat.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge, and welcome to Broadway Beat, our behind-the-scenes look at the very best of what the New York theater has to offer. This week we take you on Broadway, off Broadway, and to Schubert Alley. We'll drop by the 47th Street Theater to meet the cast of the 25th anniversary edition of Gerard Alessandrini's Forbidden Broadway, entitled Rude Awakening. We'll also take you to Schubert Alley for the 21st annual Broadway Flea Market and Grand Auction, where Broadway cleans out its closets to raise money for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. But we start things off at the Biltmore Theater for the Manhattan Theater Club's production of Teresa Reback's play Mauritius, which welcomes back to Broadway Academy Award winner F. Murray Abraham. Joining him is Alison Pill, Bobby Cannavale, Katie Finneran, and Dylan Baker. Mauritius is directed by Tony Award winner Doug Hughes. Mauritius is a tightly woven, sinister comedy where two half-sisters, played by Miss Pill and Miss Finneran, are left a rare stamp collection by their dead mother. But which sister actually owns the stamps, and which of the three men, played by Mr. Abraham, Mr. Baker, and Mr. Cannavale, can be trusted with their sale?
Pay me $10,000 and you will.
I don't have to pay you one red cent. I don't understand.
Not yet, you don't.
Dennis,
Pay it.
you sure about that?
It's movement, Sterling. Look, to be philosophical, and I see no reason not to at times like this, when the river stops flowing, all the fish die. You give her the money, or we got a dead fish.
If this goes south, she's not the only one taking the consequences of it.
Nothing is going south. Just give her the money. Look, you can pay her now, or you can pay her later. The money's all moving in the same direction. It's fine, Sterling. It's fine. Just give her the money.
I happened upon the stamps when I was trolling online. I'm happy that the internet sort of, rises and falls in this play, because that's actually what happened to me. Was I was working on another piece. I was writing, and I wanted to. I hit a wall, and so I started procrastinating, and I went over to the internet and started trolling, which is what I do sometimes, and I found these stamps on a website, and then I sort of kept following information about them, and I. It was sort of like falling down, the hole of into a completely different world of, and I became very, very compelled by many stamps, the stories about the missionary stamps and the inverted jennies, and that there's a joke early on in the play now about absentee ballots. That's actually based on a true story, that actually happened, that somebody sent in an absentee ballot with an inverted jenny, So there were so many, the world was so rich that the play kind of rose out of that, like a monster coming out of the sea, It was just like an astonishing world, was Philatelist. I like Philatelist.
At the center of it are these two stamps, and people are wildly compelled by these objects. Everything they are, everything they want is contained in these two tiny little slips of paper, and that makes for immense conflict and immense comedy. I think that people find themselves speaking honestly at very high stakes, and that's a great dramatic situation, and it's a great comic situation.
And it's not like I think the stamps are fake, either. I don't think they are. They're real. No question at all. That's so... Anyway.
Why do you think that?
What? Sorry. What?
You said you don't think the stamps are forgeries, but you also admit that you don't know anything about stamps. So what makes you think your stamps are authentic?
I don't,
Does this look like Antiques Roadshow to you?
We sure like it, and we all are really having fun playing. What I found is that actors come to see it and they say, we want to be in that. We want to have the playground to have fun with, like you guys do, and that's all it is we all are having a ball together. We really
Talk about the role you play. What a great character.
Well, I play Philip, who is a philatelist, and we actually did some study. It's a stamp lover and a real stamp expert, but he's sort of an amalgamum. Is that the right word? He's an amalgamum of
Close enough.
Of those experts that you run into in the city, any city in the world, who when you go into their store that are kind of like immediately rude and immediately want you to go away because after all you couldn't possibly know as much as they do, and they treat you like crap. And that's kind of Philip, but he's got a kind of a lovable curmudgeon about him as well. So I think people enjoy coming to Phil's.
Jackie is a ballsy, wonderful creature who stands up for herself and is also incredibly vulnerable. And it's this very fully written role that Teresa's had just such fun with. And I have so enjoyed, I've fallen in love with playing her.
And talk about Teresa's writing. Just listening to her dialogue was incredible. Talk about the first time you read it and what that means to you.
It's a page turner. It's a definite page turner, and it was a page turner just as the words, which is so exciting. And learning it came so naturally because it flows so well. And it's always, to me, a sign of good writing when I know how to memorize it easily. It just makes sense.
I'm really thrilled to have the stamps back. I don't know how they ended up in Mother's hands. Grandfather and I spent so much time with these stamps, making catalogs and lists, corresponding with other dealers. Grandfather once, obviously this is long before I was born, but he actually had an extended correspondence with FDR about the two-penny post office. He wanted to buy it, but Grandfather would never let it go. You just wouldn't let it go. You wouldn't.
Wow. An extended correspondence with FDR. That's incredible. How much did he offer?
Lots of different kinds of people come to the show, young people, old people, hip people, and there's a collective participation from them, which is something I haven't seen in a really long time. I've been in a couple hits, but one where everybody is involved. It's almost like the stamps are a metaphor for whatever it is you want, and that's been really cool, like, ooh, ah, it's really fun to hear that in such a, sophisticated world.
You want the audience, that ping pong thing back and forth, but it happens in this play.
It does, right? Yeah, and it's not just a few people that are getting it, it's like, it's kind of everybody that can't help it. It's really neat. It's really neat.
And talk about this great role, and who is she? Talk about her.
It's a wonderful role. It's something that I've never done before, really. I've never played the unlikable character, and that's something that I learned first dress rehearsal. I was like, oh, right, well, I love her, obviously, and they're my stamps, and, whatever, but nobody likes this woman, and I think it's been really fun to play that. Really exciting for me. But reading it was very hard to figure out, reading it, what it was. I knew that collectively with the 5 different roles and the actors that were hired, that it would be just a joy to do. And with Doug Hughes, I think it really is a director's play, because his hand is so specific and his direction was so intense and laser, that he really makes the play what it is, and with the suspense that it has, it's up to Doug.
I love him, Dennis. He's just a great guy, He's a guy who's, he's just, he's a little desperate, but he's got hope, He always thinks something can walk into that door, that can really turn his life around. And, he's an eternal optimist, I think. And even when the chips are down, this guy can sort of rally the troops and make something happen. And I've always said to Teresa,
if anybody would just listen to Dennis, this play would have been over in an hour and everybody would have been happy, but they don't. So, but I love her. I'm so proud of her. And I just think it's a great play and a great night for her.
I know one of the best things you've ever done was that incredible revival of Hurly Burly. Just sum that up, what that experience was like for you.
Oh, Hurly Burly was really special. You know, I was one of those great sort of life and art clashing together for me. You know, I was doing it with friends again that I knew, and going through a divorce at the time while I was playing that part was an unbelievably cathartic experience. And, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, if you devote your life to your art, every now and then you get lucky enough that your life and your art can meld together, and that Hurly Burly was just perfect for me for that. And it really got me through some tough times, and I'll never forget it.
They said don't come. I mean, I know you're angry because I wasn't here earlier, but I almost didn't come at all because I was afraid, people told me to be afraid, that there was probably some sort of financial quagmire. That's what this was really all about, getting me here to help out with the financial quagmire. People said that, but I didn't believe them. I said, it's my mother and my sister, and I need to be there for them. It's not money. That's not why they're asking me. I told people that. And that's what I'm telling you. I came because I wanted to be here to help you and to go to the funeral and see her again. I really wanted that. But if what you're saying is that you had another motive, an ulterior financial motive, I am not a party to that. I wasn't even here. So if there is a financial issue, it is not my responsibility. That is my position. Okay? Okay, Jackie?
The 21st annual Broadway Flea Market and Grand Auction recently took place in Schubert Alley. Over 50 tables were manned by Broadway shows, Broadway performers, and theater lovers selling everything from playbills to baked goods to raise money for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. The grand total for the day was $559,810. And I'm pleased to announce that the Broadway Beat table was number one, raising $15,016 for this very worthwhile cause.
We've got some great stuff, and right now we're all like on sale because it's like the last couple of hours. So we've got these t-shirts. This is from Broadway Bears, 2007 this year. This is the Tony t-shirt from 2007. This is the 2008 t-shirt. We've got a couple of these left. These are CD cases. We've got charm bracelets. I think there's like 10 shows on them. And these are like hand-painted Christmas ornaments. $20. I think they're going to be coming down like in 5 minutes to like $10 or something like that.
I want to talk about this because this is one of the biggest sellers every year at the flea market.
There was actually down the other end. There was actually a whole booth just for snow globes, but we snatched them down here. These are on sale right now, $5. $5. Yes, I have one for Preston.
So here we are, obviously, at the Spelling Bee booth. Yeah. Tell us some of the wonderful items you have for sale today.
Well, today we have one of the kickboards that it's kicked in the middle of the show, and on the back we have As My Life Unscrolls, which is the lyric that the kickboard is kicked at with little art, little Coney Bear. We have pictures that are taken on stage during the show of the different characters, Schwartzy and her dads. Well, some of these people have given us more than enough money. We charge $5 for these, and some people have given us $20, some people have given us $40. Some people have really just come out of their pockets and really given to the cause. So
everybody's been really generous. This is a whole fanny pack full of money.
Well, we've gone through a large array. We've come up with these T-shirts just specially designed for today. They say George Bush is only for now. Election year coming up, so it's quite appropriate. One of our biggest selling items so far this year are these drumsticks, which have been signed by our drummer, and they've actually been used in performance. John Tartaglia came by earlier and was nice enough to donate some things from his show, Johnny and the Sprites, and those went like hotcakes. We had luggage tags that the actual national tour is currently using that have been going quite well. Ann Sanders is going to model some of our clothing over here. Ann? Show us what we got over here.
Bring some of the stuff over. Some of the stuff you have over there. What do you got over there?
Oh, well, actually, those are Ann Harada's son's baby clothes.
And people are buying them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Original souvenir program of the pajama game. I don't know why someone hasn't swooped this up yet.
Who's in? Let's see the cast. Oh, interesting. Okay, Larry Douglas and Betty O'Neill. That's awesome. Wow. And no one got that already. And Chitties. You got some fun stuff here.
These are from the original London production of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and they have a make-your-own Chitty Chitty Bang Bang right inside.
Hi there, we're at the Rent Table, Broadway Cares Flea Market 2007. Nice to see you guys. We have signed playbills signed by the current cast. We are selling cassette tapes. You guys remember cassette tapes? But these are signed by the current cast, including Adam and Anthony and Tamira Gray, so those are great. We have had a poster from the movie signed by 5 of the original Broadway cast. Big poster. You guys know what it looks like. And we have signed playbills from different performances. We have Mimi candles that were actually used in the show, and matches that the actors have used, and these great matches from the Cat Scratch Club, which is the club where Mimi works.
Yeah, here we are at the Wicked Table. All kinds of great merchandise, lots of good autographed stuff. You can get all your favorite Glindas and Elphabas. They're signed, autographed photos here, some T-shirts. Megan Hilty gave us a great stash of some stationery that she signed, some awards from Eaton Espinosa. Here's a really popular thing today. This is Julia Murney in the half and half photo. Half green, half Julia. A bunch of these went today. The great greeting cards, if I remember right, these are designed by Sutton Foster, the Broadway greeting cards, which depict a bunch of different shows. And then, of course, other great Wicked stuff. Playbills, signed by the entire company.
Here we are at the Jersey Boys table.
Yes, it's the Jersey Boys table.
With the co-book writer.
Belleville, New Jersey. We're here with, we have our signed, of course, the de rigueur signed window card, but these are numbered, and not only signed by the cast, but they're signed by the great Marshall Brickman and his, so-so partner. That would be me. We have costume sketches of the Four Seasons and other perhaps more attractive characters, signed by the actors who play them and Jez Goldstein, the costume designer, Tony Award-winning costume designer. Here is a sort of an interesting item. This is from our recently concluded engagement at the Amundsen Theater, a program, and of course John Lloyd Young in situ, as they say. That is John Lloyd Young's actual home. We have this on the authority of his real-life assistant standing here, and who's raising a tremendous amount of money for us today. We have another interesting. We have a one-time only fluke freak accident, which we're selling as telephone memo pads. This is an understudy slip for Michael Longoria. However, you'll notice that the bio is for another actor entirely, Jonathan Hadley, who, by another freak of theatrical serendipity, goes on for 5 weeks and 5 weeks only on Broadway, beginning this Tuesday, when Peter Gregas has a little bit of a throat surgery, and Jonathan will be playing him on Broadway before taking the part to Las Vegas in the spring.
Hey, we're from the company of Hairspray! Woo! And we're here at the Broadway Flea Market. We're going to show you some lovely items we have. Hairspray. You can get your hair in this fashion. You can wear the Tracy wig for $10, and we take a picture, and you get to keep the Polaroid, and it all goes to charity. We have real hairspray. Oh, and how glamorous! And it's signed by the entire cast. We also have a Lance Bass headshot, because he is currently playing Corny Collins. So dreamy, love him.
Sex machine.
And we also have the Hairspray sign poster with the current cast on Broadway.
Now talk about how you feel today being a part of this at Broadway Cares and how generous the fans have been.
This is my second year, and I've been in charge of it the past 2 years, and every morning at 8:30 there's people here, and they're ready to buy, and they're ready to spend money for Broadway Cares, and people, like we had protest signs from the original show for $100, and they bought them, and we have a silent auction for this can right now, and we have so much stuff, and they're just willing to give so much money to help, because it's all for the good cause. So it's been a really great day. Long but great. Give to Broadway Cares!
Forbidden Broadway has been an unstoppable force in the theater since 1982, when Gerard Alessandrini created the first edition, lampooning the Broadway shows and stars of the day. Since then, it has won every conceivable award, from the Drama Desk to the Tony Award. Well, now the 25th anniversary edition has just opened, entitled Rude Awakening, at the 47th Street Theater. So we thought we'd drop by to catch up with Mr. Alessandrini and his newest cast.
Forbidden Broadway, Rude Awakening, will be taking a tour down a nightmare alley where gypsies rally to protest Disney's allure. shots.
We'll take pot shots.
We'll raise the roof when we spoof showbiz. Zap, zoom, zow.
We'll sing Xanadu.
And even you, if you're in Les Mis.
Forbidden Broadway.
Rude awakening. Time shaking in fear. Oh, Broadway's dusty as headwind booth. It's time to wake up and face the truth. Nobody gives a damn in Duluth. Never fear, forbidden is near. With a wake-up call loud and clear. And merry making on rude awakening. Wake up!
We started at West 72nd Street at Paulson Supper Club in 1982. And we played there for 5 years. I mean, we opened the show there, and we just started doing it. I didn't really open. And like a Mickey Judy show, I just got the costumes out of my closet and printed up the programs myself and got some friends and said, let's go, you know, and we did it. And the press came in, and they took a liking to it, and we were pretty packed for 5 years. And then we've moved to different locations since then, but that's where it started.
And talk about some of the great names that have gone on that have done your show.
Oh, actors that have done show. We've had tremendous casts, but Jason Alexander, for one, Dee Hoty, who started a number of Broadway shows, but tremendous talent. Chloe Webb, who was in the original. She did China Beach and Tales of Our City. Currently, Barbara Walsh, who did Company on Broadway last year, spent many years at Forbidden Broadway. Daniel Reichert, who's now doing Jersey Boys, one of the Jersey Boys, the original, was in Forbidden Broadway. Matter of fact, I think we cast him when he was non-equity and gave him his equity card. There's many that I can't, but most of the shows on Broadway had Brian Batt, who's on Mad Men, was one of our favorite and best leading men in Forbidden Broadway. Donna English was my favorite, but many. Every show in town has somebody from Forbidden Broadway in it right now.
Well, I've been doing the show since January 2nd of 2006, so like 20 months or so. And it is a hard show to do. You really have to take care of yourself, you know, no caffeine, no alcohol. And if you do, you've really got to be careful because you're doing such a range of your voice and your acting and different impressions. And it's very physical too. And I need some physical therapy for sure. But it's a tough show. And it's like Jennifer Samard, who's in Spelling Bee now, she said, you know, people that do Starlight Express, they say, you know what, like Brian Batt had done Starlight Express and Forbidden Broadway. He's like, Forbidden Broadway is totally harder because it's just nonstop 90 minutes of you doing everything that you can. And what's cool about Gerard and Phil, they will sort of cater to you as a performer if you're doing a new edition like this, instead of usually having to fit in to what someone else has created. In the new edition, like this Curtains number, Gerard wrote for me, and we just sort of were like, okay, what does he do? What's funny? And we saw the show and watched some clips on television or online, and we can, you know, it's great because they create it on your body, and so you sort of look good doing it because they do that.
Well, we bleeped alright, and every night all the young adults will wonder why. Totally bleeped, but we still get high, so come on, give us a try. Yeah, we swear alright, but not for spite, because raunchy theater gets kids high. Totally bleeped, electronic dicks will pop out of my fly.
Well, you know, we each have our station, but it's usually very tight backstage, which is fine. We have all of our costumes piled on the stage, on a chair. The last costume is the first one on the chair, and then it's about this deep. And then your wigs are either in front of you or they're piled in order as well. So you come off, the dresser rips open your Velcro, you take everything off, and then your wig, and then you throw on your new wig, you put on your new costume, she comes by and Velcros you into your next costume, and you grab things. And most of the costume changes are very tight, and we have a terrific dresser right now, Kayla, and usually they have to have really top-notch dressers, and it's usually just one. So it's, and they're also dealing with all of the props, and there are a lot of props backstage, you know, they're tucked into nooks and crannies, so it's all very choreographed, and it's a little crazy, but, you know, that's the show. The backstage is the real show, you know, because it's wild.
You know, it's an exercise in terror. I think it's a real test of there's such a showmanship quality for something like this, for this sort of review style, I think, that's so specific. And I think it's the biggest test of that, because I know that Jared was saying that the audience loves it when we mess up. And it's like Carol Burnett, when Harvey Korman and Tim Conway, when they would have their things and somebody would crack up, they loved that. I mean, it's great. So I wasn't even so concerned about mistakes as just what's next. What am I, you know, so I'm completely in my head about what am I doing? And I mean, it was very out of body, and then, you know, an hour and a half of intense concentration, and then I went home and collapsed.
You can't stop the tacky, silly, wacky shows from play to day. And it's drama, doing drama, or a serious play. I'm bursting into song is unacceptable, and so gay. You can't stop the mind that a musical from hitting the screen. And even John Travolta is a big old queen. We're sick of rapid musicals, like preaching cliche. It's jail. You can't stop the camp.
I remember coming off stage and seeing a pile of clothes and looking at the clothes and just thinking, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to remember all? I think we had, at that time, 25 different characters that we were doing. I just thought, I just will take it one step at a time and just put the clothes on and just throw myself out on stage and hope people get what we're doing. And the thing that was the most exciting about Forbidden Broadway, I think, for me, was that the response was so amazingly positive, from the older people to the younger people to the first time I did it, they sent me to the Carousel Dinner Theater in Akron, Ohio, and I thought, oh, are they going to understand this in Akron? And they loved it. You know, I think Forbidden Broadway it's not just for New Yorkers, and that was one of the things that was the most exciting for me, was it's not an elitist show. You know, anyone can get it. So it was a great launching ground into, I almost think it's almost like stand-up comedy. You know, you have the mic in front of you, you're playing the audience. It taught me how to look at an audience and get their reactions, and if something's not working, then change it the next night. So it was a great training ground. So I've been doing this now for 5 years on and off, and I'd say from Aldonza 5 years ago to, you know, Ethel Merman now, it's been an incredible growing process, you know, so it's been very exciting.
Kiss today, goodbye.